We are streaming. Let's give it a few minutes to register and get the stream started up. All right, our X is live. Sorry about that. All right, so good evening or good morning or good afternoon, wherever in the world you are today. Today we're here with Jordan, who's going to walk us through a workflow called Spec-Driven Development. And so the idea or the background behind this is instead of prompting, right, an AI coding agent over and over to build, today we're going to be making a structured spec list or spec first. And then we're going to be taking that into a planning tool. And for tonight's use case, we're using Traycer AI. And then we're going to let that planning tool, Traycer AI, coordinate the actual build with our coding agent or your coding agent of choice. For tonight, we'll be using Claude Code. So, sit back, walk through with us. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave any questions that you have, or if you get stuck on anything, shout your questions into the comment sections and let us know. As we walk through this together, we'll walk through all the steps and the different things that should pop up, okay? So we have Jordan here with us. Jordan, can you sort of walk us through what the goal for tonight is and what we're doing, what we're building?
Sure. So first, let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so what we are using today is we are using Traycer AI for transforming the spec into a plan, and then it's going to hand over the plan to Claude Code, and Claude Code going to generate application from that. So let's take a look on Traycer landing page. So the idea behind the spec is so on Traycer AI use spec as a source of truth, meaning that during our development, it's going to come back and check on our specs and how is spec differs from PRD. Think of it like PRD is for stakeholders and for presentation, but spec is for developers that you want to dig deeper into the technical side on how things worked and on the technical side. And Traycer is going to transform that specs into a plan. But to install Traycer AI, you can click install here. Make sure to have a VS Code or Cursor on your MacBook. You click install, and you can click install Traycer if you're using Cursor or VS Code or Windsurf. I use Cursor for today, so I'm going to open my Cursor. I already installed Traycer AI. It's just an extension in the IDE. So I'm in Cursor. I already created a project called Private Payroll App. What we are doing today is a simple application. We are going to try dry running it first, meaning that there will be no front end yet. If the logic works, we are going to try to create a mini front end for it. So how does it look like? It's just a simple application. We'll be creating a private tokens, and we are going to send those private tokens to our employee.
Okay.
So the concept of the application is sending private tokens, but we are using the spec-driven development.
Okay, so tonight we're going to be building a platform that's a payroll platform that
Correct.
an entity can use, and obviously we need to have the privacy factor implemented into that as well.
Correct.
Okay, and then we pay our staff or their salary via the private tokens.
Correct.
Okay.
So here I'm on Cursor, and you can search for Traycer extension, install it, and after installing it, you open the extension and log into it. It has 4 features for you. for Epic, if you're using Jira, you might be familiar to it. Epic is like a task to simply explain it. Phases, I've never used it before. And review is running a comprehensive review to identify issues. I have not using that before, but what we are using here today is the plan. And we'll get right into it and see how traces and Claude Code work together. So I have already prepared my spec, and we'll go through that spec together. Let me first create a markdown file. You don't need to create this, but this is for readability. So this is the spec that I'll be giving to Traycer and make a plan for Claude. So on the spec, I'm telling this spec is also generated by AI. I tell Claude to create spec for a simple application for using COTI privacy features to do a payroll system. So it has functional requirements and non-functional requirements and things that does not need to cover for this application environment. If you have been developing something before, you know about the environment, which is the things that you includes as variables to tell your applications on some. For example, if you have private key, you want to store it in environment variables, for example. We also have some version to make sure Claude is not hallucinated when we are trying to develop the application. And toolchain, the tools we are using for the development, this is all also decided by Claude, but we are going to test it together. And also the data models, how we are storing the data, how are we storing the salary, and how are we storing the employee and the status of the transactions
Mm.
and the flow of the application too. So spec is more de- deeper into the technical side, as you can see,
Mhm.
um, is different from the PRD.
Yeah. This seems to be more of like the, as opposed to the description, more of like the skeleton structure of it.
Yes, correct. So you can create your own specs, and what we're going to do here is we are going to throw it into Traycer just like that. And the model I'm using here is Claude Opus 4.7. And also, currently the Traycer AI has 7 days trial. You can try it with $10, which is actually enough for us for this tutorial. So
Mm.
let's send the spec to Traycer. So now we're going to start planning the specifications and doing our research. Probably use agents behind it doing that. And you will see how it's going to hand over everything to Claude Code. So far, do you have any question?
No, I seem to be following along from my end. I'm looking
Yeah,
to see.
it's actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, most of your connectors right now are seem pretty straightforward. So right now it's going through what is it called?
Specs,
Spec-driven structured spec is what it's going through right now,
correct.
right? Okay. And is this already connected to your Claude, or is it using an Opus model inside Cursor?
Currently, it is using a Claude on Tracer extension to do
Got it.
all the planning. And after that, we are going to hand over it to the Claude Code on our local machines for development.
Okay. So right now it's putting together the structured spec, right?
Yes, correct.
Which is basically the features that you've just went through, and now it's building that structured spec. And then the output, it comes out in what format? What are we looking for here? What are we expecting?
It's going to generate a task for Claude Code. So it's going to be a step-by-step plan for
Okay.
development. So it's breaking down the spec into plan.
Okay. So Tracer is taking the needs for your product and it's creating a prompt for you. Is that what it's doing?
I wouldn't say it's a prompt, but it's going to be a, if you're going to say it's a prompt, it's going to be more like a different section of prompts for Claude to follow along, like a plan on how to do things in order. If it
Mhm.
follows the first order, it's going to go to the next order and make sure it finish everything.
Got it. Okay. So it's sort of like making a to-do list for Claude,
Yes,
an
correct.
organized to-do list. Okay.
And here
Got
you
it.
can see it has hand to Claude Code CLI. We're gonna hand it,
Okay.
and it's going to initialize our Claude Code.
So you hand it off and then it opens your Claude and then that's where you
Yes,
can, okay.
correct.
Now, does Cursor work? So we're working on a Mac currently. Is Cursor working similar to like a terminal where you have to install the Claude access first? Or
Yes, I have
okay,
to install Claude Code first. First, you need Claude Code on the machine, and the terminal here is using the Claude on our machine. We are not using Claude on Cursor.
got it. Okay, so in order for this to work as well, we need to go to our terminal and then we need to go install the Cloud Access first, and then we can. In order to get that, you can head over to Anthropic's website and get their
Correct,
install command.
correct.
Okay. So now we're actually in Claude. If you notice in the bottom
Yep.
part of the middle section of Cursor here, and it's going through the different command lines or the different task lists right now. I really enjoy these little like notes from Claude billowing.
Yeah, same. It
These are
look
like,
like we're doing something. Yeah.
all right, so it's written 32 lines. Okay, it's still going.
And
It's
also, it has a functionality to verify changes done by Claude. So it's going to check if Claude like follow through everything that uh, Tracer have planned for it.
sorry. So to clarify, Tracer had already created this task list, right, for
Yes,
your Claude code,
correct,
and Tracer just prompt up this small pop-up for you asking you if you want to verify if Claude is still on track, meaning if it's going through the steps that it provided step
correct,
by step properly, correct? And so
correct.
you can prompt it to, you can say yes right now and it'll double check its work while Claude Code is coding, or will it stop, wait until Claude Code is done coding and then check it, or how does that work?
I think how it works is we have to wait for Claude to finish everything first, because if we verify it now, Claude it's gonna miss something that Claude haven't finished it yet.
Makes sense. Okay. It's a pretty good unique feature. Like it can double
Yeah,
check the work for you, essentially.
correct. But still, we're not sure if it will hallucinate. But the application we're making here today is actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We have shown a lot of demos of using private tokens.
All right. So
But today
uh,
sorry.
I have a question. So the goal of using Tracer here, right? So getting into like the why implement Tracer into your workflow or consider using Tracer in your workflow, or considering why it might be like a good trial or something like that. The goal of Tracer here is to help you like verify work that is done, check for any mistakes or anything broken. Potentially you can catch these things because you're doing, instead of vibe coding, which usually you vibe code, let's say you go onto like normal vibe coding platforms, right? You prompt it, you give it a PRD. You're
Yep.
looking at it from the front end side of things. So you sort of visualize what's happening here. But rather, this one is sort of going from the back end first, right? You're prompting the back end first. And so a lot of people who are like vibe coders probably don't visualize it. So it's going through the tasks and actually checking the functionalities of it in a different way, right? Because it's actually reading the code and verifying if there's any mistakes, correct?
I'm not sure if it's going to do some tests to check if there are any mistakes. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure what is working behind it is it has separate tasks, and
Hmm.
Claude is following through each task,
Hmm.
and Claude probably sends some signals that it has finished the task, and the tracer is going to validate that if the task is actually implemented.
Got it. Okay. So what do
I
we have?
think we have done generating all the code. If you check on the files, we have multiple files here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're going to try to verify changes.
Okay.
But this
So
does not mean that your application will not have any bugs. We're
yeah,
going to have to test it manually.
of course. User query, number of private payroll on COTI, plan specification, reservation, no workspace. Okay. So now it's essentially going through verification, which is basically going through and checking the work of the AI
Correct.
and making sure, sorry, the AI, I'm talking about Claude, and making sure that Claude followed through the steps, not necessarily finding mistakes, but making sure that it went through the steps properly. And so because it did go through the steps properly, fingers crossed, it built it um,
Correct.
in a good way. Yeah.
Yes, that is what, from my understanding.
Okay. Makes sense. If anyone is just joining in now, we are currently waiting for Traycer AI to basically verify or double check the work that we've already done in Cloud Code. So Traycer AI is a tool that we're using tonight. Instead of like your traditional prompting from the front end and building from the front end and working your way to fixing the different features, we're going the other way. We're going the other direction, and so we're using Traycer AI to create what's called a
The
specification.
task.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
task
yeah.
string for your vibe coding tool, right? It's a spec-driven development, and so
Correct.
essentially it's a structured spec, a large to-do list, and keeps your vibe coding or sorry your coding agent of choice in check and making sure that it's going through a certain set of steps that it needs to go through. Tonight we're building a private payroll app on COTI, and so we have sort of a demo. The outline is basically we have 3 staff on payroll, and then we're trying to pay them with our
Our
tokens.
private token. Correct.
Yeah, private token. So for Tracer,
Yep.
what are like some use cases aside from like a simple payroll app that we're approaching right now? Like, what are some other generic use cases or showcases that we can sort of see the value of it sort of shine?
From what I've seen earlier, from selecting the features where we chose plan, I think I saw the things called Epic. It's
Mhm.
probably going to able to create a like going to analyze the code base and
Yeah.
create tickets for application like Jira, or I'm not sure if Slack support this, but probably Jira. So it probably going to analyze the code and create tickets for that. That's what I'm assuming the Epic's gonna do.
Yeah.
And also the review, I think, but review is kind of like probably everywhere right now. Copilot can also do it,
Mhm.
but probably I think the main focus here is probably the tickets thing and also the spec driven.
Okay. So for tonight's demo, we're using. You mentioned earlier that we have a free $10
Trial, correct.
trial that gives you like a $10. What's the units here for Tracer? Is it $10 worth of like credits.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it.
If I think we can check my usage here.
And so
Yeah,
here you're
it
on the web-based platform for platform.tracer or tracer.ai, right?
yes,
And
correct.
you're in the settings page. Okay.
So I from the test we just did, I probably use like $1.50 because I already test some of it, and that uses like $2. Probably use less than $2 for this task we are doing.
Okay.
But I think this web search is taking a lot of times.
Yeah,
I'm
it
going
seems
to stop it for now.
okay.
Yeah. So after Cloud Code created this,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna tell us the list of all the things here. But of course, we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to what files these are. We can ask questions later if we want to know how to test these files. But
Okay.
let's check on the command. It's going to tell us to npm install, which is installing dependencies.
Yeah.
Sorry. Make sure to be on the project and npm install. And there is errors, a lot of
There's
errors here. Cannot resolve dependencies.
okay.
I'm going
So
to just throw it to Cloud Code.
okay.
Do you have any question?
Well, I was gonna ask you like, so what is the error right now? And that's what we're figuring out. We're getting Cloud Code to answer that question for us.
I'm pretty sure what's happening here is that the version we specify in the Cloud specify in the package JSON is
Hmm.
not what the dep- what's called the for example, just example, if this .env has a dependency of hard hat with some version, but we also have hard hat version which is not the same as the version that .env hard hat versions should use, because it has some kind of these errors, so we have to fix a peer. That's why it's calling peer dependencies
Okay. And it
errors.
seems pointing straight to a hard hat, like you mentioned right there.
Yeah,
It's giving you some options right here to fix, right?
let me read it first.
Install with legacy peer deeps.
Okay, we can do this for
No.
now using legacy,
Okay.
because sometimes this always has happened in the more modern to today. It is that the peer dependencies errors when we're like coding with the blockchain stuff.
Okay. So it's a common
Yeah, it's common.
speed bump you up.
It's probably going to take some time for installation.
Okay. And so right now we've already prompted to attempt to fix, which is installing the legacy peer depths, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Let's go through some files. Wait. Vulnerabilities. I normally don't do this, but just show it how like when like there's some vulnerabilities, we always run the audits fix to
Okay.
fix the vulnerabilities. But it might also cause the version mismatch again, but it's the best practice to do it.
Okay. So Tracer AI needs to run through one of the three models that it prompts on its website essentially. So it can't run locally on your terminal. It either needs to use Cursor, um, Windsurf, or what
or
was it?
VS Code.
VS Code. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, if it's on either Windsurf, Cursor, or VS Code, it's actually on our local machine already. Because what doing here is that we just install the extension available on the marketplace.
Okay.
So what Tracer did here when we click install is it going to trigger the installation on the from the application. It's not downloading anything. It just
Oh,
open the either Cursor, VS Code, or Windsurf just to install the extension from the marketplace.
okay, got it. So it's another extension essentially that we can install.
Correct.
Okay, pretty straightforward. So right now it's running the audit fix.
Yeah. It might take sometimes it take more than 2 minutes. I might cancel it and try compiling the smart contract.
Okay, give it 2 minutes and then we can see.
So for the ENV,
So I see a note here, right? And you've described Tracer as like the senior engineer, and Claude Code is the junior engineer. Can you sort of like explain that process in that imagery?
where's the note again?
Sorry.
What was that? The senior engineer, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So Tracer seems to be like visually, it's described as Tracer is like the senior
Okay.
engineer, or as a senior engineer, and then Claude Code or any other coding tool agent is the junior, right?
So I think what it's trying to um, so senior is like the one who dig deeper into the system architect
Hmm.
and designing the system instead of like purely coding. They also code, but most of the time it's going to be them designing the application, and juniors are going to be the one who code.
Hmm.
And that's actually I think that's a metaphor, probably,
Yeah.
but it's actually straightforward because cur- currently we're using Tracer as the one who create all the tasks, doing all the
Yeah.
creating tasks for all the per se juniors engineers.
Yeah. So the senior engineer is basically the PM, right? And he's organizing. He or she's like organizing the whole project and what needs to get done, what the structure looks
Yeah.
like, what the built looks like, right?
Yeah.
Providing detailed setup, and then Cloud Code is the junior actually building it out, right?
Yes. A very smart junior.
Yeah, knows everything you tell it to do.
So now it's finished installation. We are going to try the what Tracer told us to do, Cloud Code told us to do here, which
Copy.
is running the npm run compile,
Okay.
which is a script for compiling the smart contract. But I don't think it will work because we have not entered our private key yet.
Okay. Yeah.
We can wait. Some error with hard hat. We can manually fix it or ask AI to fix it, but it actually instructs us on what to do.
Yeah.
Package JSON and
So just
type mode.
FYI, this is Claude giving you the steps. Yeah.
Yep. more errors here.
which is the versions for hard hat toolbox to use. I'm gonna switch the screen over a little bit so our viewers can see what's happening in the lower sector of the screen here.
These errors are like always common because it always gets other versions and turns out something does not work if libraries A does not work with libraries B on this version. So there's a lot of mismatch version right
Yeah.
here. So we're going to use Claude Code to clear that out for us. So right now it's going to be a loop of us trying to run the app, fix the app, and the spec is already done. It's already generated everything.
Okay.
Let's see what can we do here. So here, this is I haven't tried this before, and
Okay.
this is a phase breakdown. It has the first phase, which is the first the first part of the development. We might add new phase. For example, if we have new features, we can add more specs to it, and they're going to create a new phase for creating a new features for us. But I'm not sure how the maintainability is going to be. It might make some breaking changes, but I'm pretty sure it will not because we're using Traycer as a source of truth,
Right.
meaning that it could probably remain everything the same. And if we are going to add any features, we're going to add the features on top of it and not breaking the changes we made earlier.
Right.
Let me check here.
So right now we're going through, for those watching, we're going through a few error loops. In this case, we're in particular to hard hat features like toolbox and stuff like that. The versions are not matching up. There's a mismatch, and so we're taking some different steps that Claude is suggesting us to take to make these fixes, and then we're running through those real motions essentially.
Okay, so to fix something, I'm going to try npm install again. Oh, not here. This is Claude Code.
You're gonna install it inside Claude. Make sure you're vigilant and careful where you install the different packages.
Yeah. Going to try with this for now. I think the audit fix mess up the versions.
Yeah.
The plugin. So we are going to let Claude do all this for us. So we're gonna have to manually install everything.
So it's still referring to the hard hat version. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
pass it to Claude and have it fix that for us.
Okay, let's try it. Okay, now we have errors related to the application, not the dependencies anymore.
Okay,
And
so we're headed in the right direction now. We're making those fixes in the correct stages.
payroll
And so
app.
now we're focused on the functionality side of the errors. So what errors were you saying that we're experiencing now? No,
So it's trying to search for a file called compile, but I cannot find it because there's a file called compile here.
it makes sense. That's why I can't find it.
I want to try it. I want to try something.
Okay. What are you trying right now?
Instead of using npx, I'm going to try using npm.
Okay. To try to find the file, right?
No. Oh no, npx has hard hat compile. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I was using wrong command. Sorry.
There we go.
Okay, so well, we are still having errors.
Now it's the hard hat ignition.
Try running this, so we don't have to wait for Claude doing that. The vulnerabilities keep going higher and higher.
We keep adding more bricks to this tower, huh?
Yeah, a broken bricks.
So in reality, though, with the vulnerabilities going up, these are all necessary items for the app in our case right now. And so there's a step that we skipped earlier, right? And so that's also checking or verifying for like all these vulnerabilities. That's something that we should also go through and audit as well, right?
Yes, we must always run the audit fix.
Yeah.
So now it's some error related to our smart contract
Okay.
payroll tokens.
And going back on the note of the vulnerabilities, like it'll give you, it seems to be giving you like a track as well of like
Correct.
how many vulnerabilities there are, and it ranks them in terms of like low risk, like medium, and then like high ones that you should look at.
Yeah.
So we're over in the COTI contract wizard now, right?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do here is, so currently Claude tried to create a private tokens here, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's actually creating it in the correct way. So might add will deploy the token here and deploy the smart contract for the payroll over here. But I want to compare both token and contract first and see if it missed something. I don't think it missed anything. It is related to this line. I'm going to deploy a private token over here
Mm-hmm.
because I want to debug the token here we already have a working COTI contract with it, or you can use the COTI MCP for deploying your contract, your token contract.
Yeah.
I'm going to name it payroll token.
Mm-hmm. That's the name of our company, Payroll Token.
Okay. We're going to click deploy. On mainnet, we are using mainnet here. But let me check if I'm in the correct wallet. Employer. Correct. Let's deploy it.
And then here's your standard back and forth between signing contracts for MetaMask.
Yeah. So we have our private
Awesome.
token. This will contract. So now our private token is up and live on the mainnet.
Yep.
So the application created by Claude currently is probably depends on the smart contract,
Okay.
the payroll token contract. So I have to tell Claude that I already deployed the token contract elsewhere and see how it restructure our test purpose.
Okay.
Let me copy the error here. I'm going to tell Claude that I already deployed the payroll token elsewhere. Oh, I didn't paste it. Never mind.
It's puzzling. There we go.
Okay, 2Ks flow different style.
Deploy only, no mint or minted.
I'll change the script. I think it has been sent to here. Let me try to import the token. We actually had to check on the COTI snap because our account our balance is actually encrypted. We not sure if we already minted the pay
Right.
the token. Yeah. Import tokens. Okay, I have 0 as expected. A only deployed. I'm reading this part. Is the wallet you are using here probably in the .env?
Okay.
Yep. We'll copy our private key and paste it here.
Okay. So you have the employer private key and then the employee's individual private keys, right?
Yes, this is for testing purposes.
Yeah.
On the local machine. Because we need the keys to check the balance of each employee.
Okay. So basically, it's trying to figure out who is who right now. We're just trying to match the right people to the right connector, right? Trying to figure out who's the employer,
Correct.
which key is going to be the employer, which ones are going to be the like the receiving end, so like the employees.
Yeah. So now it has fixed our deploy script. We are going to test it. First, I'm going to grab my private key.
All right.
Wait, I forgot where private key is. Probably not here. Oh, over here.
I'm hiding your screen for a few seconds here as we get the private
It's
key.
alright. I already moved the .env elsewhere.
All right. I'm bringing your screen back on then.
Okay. I copied the employee key, which is going to be the private key of the wallet that deploy the payroll tokens, because this wallet is going to be the one who responsible for sending the payroll to our employee
So
and
in
will
this
be
case,
the only one who can access the token.
so in
Sorry,
this
what?
case, in this case, we're paying COTI, so using COTI, so we take that key, right?
Yes, but COTI is built on I'm pretty sure it's built on EVM. Probably the wallet is going to be the same. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure how that works. I forgot how that works. The owner encryption key. Okay, and let me copy the contract details, payroll token, and paste it in the .env file. Payroll address. I have to ask Claude something. What is the different? Because I'm pretty sure those are the same.
Yeah, that's a valid question. It seems like the same.
Oh, I forgot that we also need a smart contract for the payroll system. That's why. That's why. Okay. So we also have to deploy the payroll, but we are going to use the script on our local machine for deploying it. The
Right.
payroll token, we already deployed it.
Good.
So, okay. What next is we are going to compile the contract. Let me check what command do I need to run. npm run deploy. Let me check the script.
Okay.
Hmm. Before that, let me grab my AES key first.
Okay.
So AES key is used for onboarding your account and also used for encrypt and decrypt the data. So I'm
Data.
going to paste it in the .env file, which
Okay.
requires the owner private key and the owner AES key.
Okay.
Let me check this. What is wrong with this? Let me tell Claude. So let me run it. So we have new errors.
Mm-hmm. Private payroll.
Compile XORI files successfully.
Oh.
Owner private key is not set in .env. That
Okay.
is weird because I already set that over here. Maybe it's I thought it was .local is actually .example, which will not work. We have to change it. I couldn't run it.
It's reading. It's not reading.
Okay, finally.
There you go. Now it's reading the file.
And we have different. Okay, deploying from show E2, which is our owner wallet, using existing payroll token. The
Mm-hmm.
token we just deployed, payroll deployed at this transaction. Error missing revert data. Okay. Let me hide. Oh. So now the transaction is working, but we are having errors on the blockchain right now. So we have to dig deeper on what is happening.
Okay. So the foundation right now that we have is the transaction from the employer key wallet
Yep.
to the employee is there, correct?
Sorry, what was that? The what?
So the foundation, you said the transactions are working. So the
So
foundation
yeah,
for the wallet is to move private tokens from the employer to the employee.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
So trying to do that, but there's having an error on the blockchain. So we have to debug that. But it could be that I have not add the private key of the employee and
So I
the
wasn't that
the
our employee keys are still empty, right?
yes, correct. So I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, because there's essentially no one to send it to. Maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
So is this our first employee, Miss Alice?
Yes. Alice, Bob, and Carol.
So we have Alice, Bob, and Carol that we got to get paid today.
Yeah.
They've been working hard, so we gotta pay them.
Account details, private key.
I like it because this is sort of like it's the realistic, not sort of like, it's the actual like realistic walkthrough, right? And
Uh,
the actual experiences that you'll possibly encounter, especially when it comes to privacy on the blockchain.
Correct. And I also have to grab the AES key for from both of them, from all the free employee.
Okay.
Let me-
So again, for those who are just joining us, as he grabs the keys for the employees, tonight we're using Traycer with our coding agent of choice. Tonight we're using Claude Code.
Maybe I'll try it. Grab.
We're building a payroll application, and essentially what Traycer is, it is a specification first, right, document. So basically, instead of like prompting for the front end and building the platform that way on your typical vibe coding platforms, we're going on the back end of things first. We're building the skeleton, the structure of it, and Traycer creates like this very in-depth to-do list for Claude Code that we're using tonight. And it basically tells Claude Code, okay, so build this. These are all the features. Take these steps, okay? And in short, the analogy that Jordan left in his notes was, so we all sort of know, or maybe the basic understanding for Claude Code is that it's sort of like that junior dev that is very capable, as we all
Yeah,
know. Uh,
capable.
Regardless of what coding agent you are using, it's very capable. And so it is categorized as like the junior dev. So it's like the worker. And then you have Tracer, who sort of like oversees the working process and breaks down the operations down for Claude Code. And so Tracer is sort of like the senior developer now, going through, and it'll like verify, double check the work. So it'll lay the foundational to do first. Claude will then take that to do, build off of it. And then once Claude says, hey, I've completed my task for the day, Tracer will then prompt you if you want to go in and check its work and verify, essentially, it's what it's called. And then you can go through and verify everything, make sure that it followed the steps. And hopefully, because Claude Code followed the steps, the to do list, there's very minimal gaps. Okay. But one of the main things for for Tracer is that it will need to be used via connecting it as an extension on one of the three platforms, terminal platforms, which is Cursor, Windsurf, or VS Code. And tonight we're using Cursor, just FYI. But again, it works on all three, so you can, of your choice again, whichever one you want to use, you can use that. All right. So where are we now? So we've added the Alice, Bob, and Carol. All of
Yep.
their codes are in now.
So I'm pretty sure what's happening is that Cloud is guessing the function signature for calling COTI functions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're getting errors when we're calling functions on the blockchain. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get Claude to fix it without me trying to find the correct signature for Claude. I want to see the capability of Claude finding the correct functions. Because on my first few live streams, it was I always have to provide all the documentation from Claude. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see how far has it come to create on its knowledge, to do its own research and try to implement it by
Go
itself.
find the documentations and stuff like that and pull it itself,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
yeah, like search for it.
Okay. If you're just joining now, if you have any questions or have genuine thoughts or want to know more about Traycer, just let us know. We'll see if we can pop in and answer those questions for you once we get to the Q&A section.
Okay, so what I see here is it assumed that most likely the deploy contract has a different mint signature, meaning that it trying to say that the mint function mint here is not the one it's trying to call. It has different structure.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to say. Now trying to do some research for it, but I will not proceed it. And what I would do is I'm going to copy the whole contract over here and throw it into Claude and tell it this is what our token contract look like.
Okay. Okay. So it's gone through and
Yep. So
it's gone and gotten the documentation.
yeah, it's trying to search for ways and it come up with an assumption that the the function mint it trying to call on the code here is different from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's trying to do some search on it. But since I already noticed that it think it has different mint signature, so I'm going to just throw the actual smart contract to
Yeah.
Claude.
Okay. Just to help verify it.
Now it makes sense. The deploy token has mint signature, not the encrypted mint address. So I'm trying to do some fix. So summary, re-region to mirror the deploy source, drop it quickly for the mint and just call. Okay, so now we try to run npm run deploy again.
So theoretically speaking, like what's the next steps after this, right? So once, knock on wood, we get the all these verification processes done, the skeleton done, right? How then do we process the next steps? Getting the front end set up is essentially the short version of my question. Well,
So now what we're trying to do is we try to deploy the payroll system contract, and we are going to test it on our local machine. And if we have extra time, we are going to try to implement a front end for testing that too.
okay.
But we are going to test on the terminal on the local machine first, which is going to be some kind of log showing the transaction going through, if it works or not.
Yeah,
Yep.
makes sense.
It
Okay.
does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So what do we have here now?
So it compiled one solidity contract successfully. So it has deployed this contract that deploy. Let me check. So it has deployed our payroll system contract.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to add it to the env, and we also going to test it on our main net.codi scan.
Okay.
Oh, so the contract has been created, but we have to also test it too.
Yep.
Let's go back to here and back to Claude Spectra. Since you should know, the deploy token uses MB core in plain text, but the global frames. Okay, so I'm going to tell it what next. What do we run next to test everything?
Hmm.
Deploy. So we'll see how Claude. We need to guide that to test everything.
Okay.
So now add employee key to .np. Each wallet needs 0.1 COTI on mainnet. That's fine. We can just send it right now using our
Employer.
employer contract.
Yep.
Send.
Salaries coming over to Alice. To COTI.
Well, this is just COTI. It's not the actual currency
Yeah.
we have to pay them.
This is
Okay,
just.
we're going to send it. Wait, let me check. Did I do it correctly? Okay, back to employer. Send to Bob to, and also employer send COTI to
Carol.
Carol too. So back to our code. Add employees key to.env already done.
Yep.
Each wallet needs more than 0.1 COTI already added. And now run onboard employees. It's going to print the employees encryption keys, and we are going to paste that into the .env file
Mhm.
and run the demo.
Awesome.
Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Hang in
Let's
there.
run this.
Gone through the steep hill climb already. And then now we're basically doing the last two, knock on wood, pieces of tests right now. We've
Yep,
already we've already added the employees' keys into our payroll.
correct.
What do you call it? Sheet. And then we've prepared two COTI to be paid out to each of them already. Now we're onboarding them onto the
Yep.
payroll, and it's pulled
And
their keys as you can see there.
we have the encryption key,
Yep.
which is the key we got after onboarded our account on the COTI blockchain.
Yep. And then now we go to the
I'm
third
going
one.
to, yep, I'm going to copy everything to my .env and make sure everything is correct. Okay, and next we are going to run the
Demo.
demo, npm run demo.
Here's the
I want
big drum
to
roll.
reset everything, make it clean here. Okay,
Running the drum roll.
we're just running employees.
Now, to the world, this is a lot of line of text on screen, but it is actually a really powerful tool that supports the ability of like building different apps, actual useful apps that you can
Yep.
use, connecting with the privacy side and keeping the privacy side on the blockchain as well.
And now
So
we have some errors.
here we
When it
go.
reaches the three employees, employees reading their own salaries.
Mhm.
Missing something.
Execution reverting.
Trying to. What is this 6? Let me check. Is it the. Okay. We'll check the transaction first.
Yeah.
So it call a function on the contract. Probably encrypted. Yep. Hmm. Interesting. I'll try to add the token to everyone here. Okay, so everyone still has 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the errors to Claude again and see what happened.
Okay. So just to add a little spotlight back here to our whole purpose of the stream here, right?
Yep.
Our primary issues that we're facing now are sort of away from Tracer now. So I kind of
Yes.
want to chime back in as Claude is in the background trying to fix these issues on the blockchain for us. What are some of the realities here for Tracer so far? So what I've realized from my notes, right, is we've used it in sort of like that beginning phase, and now it's a lot of us back and forth between Claude, right? And so like
Yeah.
what are some okay, like removing all the hype with different AI, right? What are the cans and can't do's for Tracer so that as we approach the reality of using Tracer, like what are people keeping in mind?
First of all, Traycer is not for coding; it's for planning, and I think the concept is actually pretty awesome, which is creating a plan. Like if we go to Tracer over here, you can see we have different phases, like I explained earlier.
Right.
If we want to create a large project, we want to initialize the first phase of our project, we can use um, Tracer to create a plan for that first phase. And if we have a new phase with new specs, we throw it into Tracer. We add we have another phase, but it's keep everything structured. Now we know the first phase of our application, the second phase, because we keep wipe coding everything, because everything is going to be like
Yeah.
growing bigger and not organized, right? Yeah.
Okay. So
So
Tracer
everything, yeah,
helps keep it in like different smaller packages for you. And
yeah,
then like when you need to, so for example, if you are already on a stage where like your product is rolled out, let's say this payroll app is already rolled out, it's a few versions in. We have a few more like requests for version updates or like there's different
yep,
things that we need to add, features and functionalities, maybe even just like a rebranding or recoloring of some
yeah,
sort, fixing the UI interfaces and stuff like that. Those can be added into the phase, and tracers can sort of like track that progress for you as you
yep,
get things done. Then you can understand sort of like what's next and what's already live, what's already deployed, and it's basically like a plug-in to-do list that helps you
yeah,
walk through Claude Code.
yeah. I think it's a powerful one because yeah, it breakthroughs tasks for Claude Code, and so for these to keep users keep on track of
Yeah.
their application.
So
Because imagine like,
there,
sorry, what?
just to get it out there, Tracer is not a coding agent.
Correct.
Rather, it it understands coding, but it views it from like a wide view, so like a senior development point of view, and it creates a
Yep.
to do for you. So it knows what the steps need to be, but it does not do the actual coding for you. So you will need a coding agent. In our case, we're using Claude Code to
Correct.
use this. Sorry, go ahead and continue. You were talking about.
And it's actually pretty seamless connection because we
Mm.
can see that on our first phase, we can just click hand over the task to Claude and it just automatically start Claude code for us and start doing the stuff.
Yeah, so it integrates into one of the three platforms that you can use the interface from, which is either Cursor, Windsurf, or VS Code, right? And it's able to communicate back and forth between the two seamlessly. So in Cursor, what we're using tonight, we install the extension. You can just do it straight from their browser. You just click install from their browser to Cursor or VS Code or um, what's the other one? Windsurf. It's all there
Yep,
on their
correct.
install page, and then it automatically brings you to your cursor, and then it preps everything that you need there. All right. We're running the demo one more time now.
Yeah.
So the strong benefit of Traycer is right
More of
now
a
in
orchestrator,
our
see.
sorry.
More as like of a orchestrator.
Yeah.
Like it manage every agents for coding, like a senior managing juniors.
Yeah.
So back to your question.
So I'm just stating that like right now we're in the first version of actually building the application. You'll probably see more use case, obviously in that beginning stage of like the first stages of building a product, and then also maybe after this stage of like the back and forth with Claude and fixing these different errors to get the app up and running first is when you'll probably bring Traycer back in. This is like the reality of it, back in again for the different phases, different feature updates, or things
Correct.
to work on after it's actually been launched, right?
Correct.
So like a question came in, which probably needs to be directed or it needs to be clarified, right? So the question is like, why not just use Claude Code's plan mode? So can you sort of walk me through that?
So the purpose of the live stream is we're trying to find different AI tools and
Yeah.
try to test out what tools are out there and trying to use it and give feedbacks from our usage.
Yeah.
From my experience with Cloud Code Plan Mode, what I'm facing here is well, it works as I expected, and it works well for me because I'm a developer.
Yeah.
But I think in the perspective of someone who who has no like technical background, if you have like Tracer for managing your wipe coded app, I
Hmm.
think it's going to be like a some sort of like project manager for you because
Mm.
it has a like different phase for your application.
Yeah.
It has more features, but I'm not sure what there are currently. But
Yeah.
comparing to plan mode, I have tested plan mode, but hot plan is like creating a empty files, right?
Hmm.
And it's going to use that empty files for your source of truth.
Hmm.
And this is for me, Tracer is more interactive
Yeah.
from my experience, and is straight to the point, and people with no technical backgrounds and can see it and understand it easier rather than the Cloud Code
Yeah.
planning.
So I was gonna say I agree with you. So sort of like what I'm seeing here is Tracer has a very interactive like UI here, and it's visual for you, and so it's probably going to be less of a learning curve. There's always going to be a learning curve when you're vibe coding and coding and building actual apps and launching. Nonetheless, Tracer will sort of like help you with like a soft landing when it comes to like management between all of your coded projects, etc. Your project
Yep.
builds. Cool.
Currently, the issue we are facing is related to how Claude designed the functions to call the what we call the encryption functions of the COTI libraries.
Right.
So we can look it up on the COTI documentation, but I want to like what should I call it? Try to use Claude as much as possible, because I'm pretty sure most of the people trying to build on the COTI blockchain, they might not like have a strong technical skills.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go back and forth with AIs, and we'll see how far we can go. But eventually, it's gonna be solved. But we'll see how long.
Yeah. And if you're ever building anything out there, you know, make sure to like tag us or share it with us on COTI Foundation here on X, so that we actually can see it. And then, if there's any thoughts or if there's any comments that we can give, maybe we can step in and provide that. It's always fun seeing what you guys are building out there. So definitely want to stay
Yeah.
connected and keep that engagement going.
So
So
now
again, right
Claude makes some changes. We
Yeah.
are going to redeploy it and run the demo again.
Awesome. So again, right now, the issues that we're encountering right now are not with Tracer. Just FYI, Tracer was used
Yeah.
sort of to help us organize the structure build in the beginning. It provided the specification sheet for Claw to then take and build. Right now, the main issues is our standard building on the blockchain and making sure that we're connecting correctly and properly. And once we run these fixes or we have Cloud Code
We're gonna
attempt to fix this, we're going to run
try this.
our demo.
Yeah. I don't think we will have time for the front end version.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're going to let me reset the terminal.
Let's run that demo.
So let me explain the demo we're trying to do here. Wait.
Yeah. Mismatch.
So I'm pretty sure. Let me check if it's weird. Salary mismatch for employee one.
Which is Alice.
Yeah. Good, because here on the MetaMask it still shows 0. I'm not sure if I imported the correct one or yet. Yeah, it's called mint function. So now it's more of a logic and decryption errors, not
Yeah.
related to blockchain anymore. So we're getting values, but value is different. Let me think about this. So we can just throw to Claude and ask for it to fix, but let's try going through this first. This happened on employees reading their own salaries. an encrypt, sorry. Where's let's try to plot. It's gonna be a loop like this, like fix errors till bugs.
And this is going to be like a common loop we encounter anyways.
Yep, when white coding or even coding normally is going this loop.
Yeah. I was about to say, even outside of vibe coding.
Yeah. Mm.
It's going through the fix right now.
Okay. Already registered. Payroll already registered.
Okay.
Okay, so it probably run the register employee. So what we're doing now is we're going to comment this out. This is
Yeah.
for testing. I'm going to comment this out first to run the demo again. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to try to plot, but as well, I'm going to check the tokens. It still show as 0, meaning that we're
Right.
not receiving anything.
So right now it's having an error with one of the employees, right?
It's testing from the first employee, so I assume that this is going to happen to all of the employees.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's telling you something about ASCII and private key mismatch.
The ES key is missing.
Yeah, I have to recheck that.
All right.
Um, settings. Oh, yep, the first one is correct. To Bob. Bob is also correct. Carol is also correct. So next thing I'm going to check is the AS key.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure why the encrypt the AS key is different from the first time.
Maybe that's what's
Wait,
changed.
is it? Oh no, it's already correct.
Oh, interesting. Is there like a the beginning and end copy properly?
Yeah, it is. We're going to deploy it again, and also we're going to test the demo again.
Pre-flight is okay. Deploying.
Add these to your .env.
So in these like command files here, like the env right there, there's notes that are sort of left there. It says step 3, there's step 2, step 1, step 4. So is that the input from Tracer basically breaking down the chunks into these different steps for Cloud?
In the .env,
Yeah,
no, that is what Claude
that's what Cloud made.
created. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
No, the research should already worked before. Hmm. Not sure what's wrong with it. Hmm. I think you started to hallucinate.
Have the what?
You started to hallucinate.
Oh, Claude.
Yeah. npm run deploy. I try running new script.
Mm,
It's just checking keys if it's correct. It is.
it is. Yeah.
What's trying to tell me to re-onboarding the employees, even though I'm going to get the same AES keys anyway. Yes, it's the same one. I'm going to try deploying it and also try to demo it again.
Pretty fine.
The good
Okay.
thing, like when we're like developing smart contract on the local machine, you
Yeah.
can test it very fast. We can redeploy and rerun everything. If we were doing a front end applications, you're gonna mess a lot of things. That's why we should work on the logic sides work first before we move on to the front end.
So that's like going back to like one of the strong points for Tracer, right? Is it'll help
Yeah,
you stay organized while you're able to focus on like the back end build as opposed to like vibe coding it from the front end
correct.
first. Yeah. Yeah, because as soon as you start to add like that front end stuff, that's where a lot of the hallucination tends to happen, maybe, and
Yeah.
errors stuff like that. From what I've heard and seen across the different markets, is like communication between back end and the front end is sort of that connection is the main troubling part, challenging part, I should say. Sorry, not troubling.
Let me check the wallet if it's correct. This is weird. Currently, the issue here is probably solely on the smart contract. On the contract, we're trying to create the payroll system.
Yeah.
Yep. And actually, there is a workaround by creating a simple calling of transferring instead of doing a payroll system.
Okay.
But I'm trying to fix this first. Hmm. When is the live stream finish? Let me check.
We're coming up on our second hour.
So it's just back and forth of debugging.
Yeah, our standard loops.
Hmm.
So it's going through step by step now.
Yeah, trying
Double
to
each
help me
line.
debug it.
Yeah. Yeah. AES is fine. Open it for me.
Hmm.
One more mismatch. No, it's NV key.
Re-onboard only that wallet. I don't understand why. Imagine I ran out of the usage just from one live stream.
For Tracer,
No, for Claude Code. Because we're not using Tracer right now,
yeah,
right?
maybe that's why it's having these situations. It's like it's nearing its limit. It's reducing its power.
That probably exceeded the context windows.
Imagine we didn't have any issues with Tracer,
Yeah.
just bugs with Mr. Claude. Apologies for this small hiccup here.
A
Having
large one. Huge kick-up.
huge hiccup. Connection issues right now with
The key.
employee
Yeah.
wallets. Yeah, the reading of the keys for the employee wallet.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, the goal that we're trying to reach and why we're trying to debug this for you guys is we're trying to cover a few important points here, right? Which we've covered the first two already, which is using the spec, right, as the source of truth, and then using Tracer to help us plan and verify in that beginning stage, beginning of the stream, um, as like that planner, as like this PM type person or individual, as opposed to it coding, which is not what it does. Rather, it's sort of the organizer, the project manager for your code agents. And currently, we're using Tracer setup to help us vibe code or plan to vibe code or plan or vibe code out this tool, which is a payroll tool that we want to use to pay out our staff or staff salaries via private tokens, um, to show you sort of like a real world workflow that can sort of be scaled into like real systems on the chain with like with privacy first chains like COTI as well.
Found it. The owner balance mismatch isn't a side issue. It's like actual bug. Look at the data. Employee balance decrypt correctly comes from just accumulated across two diagrams. Their keys match. Owner balance decrypt to garbage.
Mm.
Oh, let me try running this.
We're getting some good response.
Oh, the key is actually different.
Ah, so the key was actually different. Oh, the owner key. So we're not looking at the employees, the employer and the owner key.
Yeah, it assumed it was employees, but now it's actually the employers.
Oh, I was referring to the employer. So we were looking at the wrong place the whole time.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. I'm so excited.
So AI/human error here. All right, here we go. We're back on the deployments. We've matched the keys already, correct? I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay.
Payroll deployed up here. Let me change the.
Here we go. The real drum roll.
There might be chance of we finally doing it.
Register. So what are we looking for here, Jordan? Oh, that's already
We're waiting. So it Oh, it's actually working.
there we go.
Finally.
There's an actual change in response. Here
Yeah,
we go.
yeah. And I will go through all of this and let's see.
Oh.
Let's check the paid event here. So everything works fine.
So now it's giving us the paid events sheet now, basically to
Yep.
confirm the transactions.
I will wrap everything up and I'll explain, go through everything. We're just done.
Look at that.
So this is our payroll system smart contract, and it's showing the contract calling the functions in there. So let's go through the demo, what it has here.
Yeah.
So first off, what it does it's register our employees into the system and um, initialize the employees with different salaries, and then now for each employees, it going to use the employee's private key and the encryption key to read their own salaries.
Mm.
So over here, we can see that employee one can read their own salary. And can read because it pulled the encrypted data and used their keys to decrypt it, and we're checking if the amount is correct. And it
Okay.
goes on for all of the employee.
Mhm.
And the next one, the next demo check is checking if um if employee one can decrypt employee two salary. It turns out it cannot. So it get the garbage value.
Okay.
So we confirmed now that employee one cannot see employee two salary, even though
Mm.
it gets the value, it cannot
Mm.
decrypt the value.
Okay. So that's
And payout,
good.
yep,
We have that
yeah,
privacy
that's
layer
good.
now.
And running payout is just running a simulating a system of paying
Yeah.
all the employees. And that's all. It just tests all the payment system, and we can confirm that our encryption is working. And let's
Yeah.
check our. And here we are. We now Alice, Bob should have something on him. Yep, and also Carol are
Boom.
all paid
There you go.
before
They all
midnight.
have their salary before midnight.
Yeah.
Wow. They got some time. I love that. So again, recapping the three main core foundations from this walkthrough that we've done today, right? Is we started with Traycer, which is what we're demoing today, a spec-driven deployment spec sheet. Essentially, it is a project manager, if you will. Um, a senior developer maybe is a better image that will manage a to-do,
Yep.
and it can actually do more than that, which is aside from just the to-do, is it can break down your process into phases. So after this deployment, now that the process is live, once your app is like live and you need to have consistent updates, improvements, you can use Traycer now to help you keep those feature updates, progress reports sort of organized in one place. There's a very user-friendly dashboard when using it compared to like Claude's native plan, whereas like that sort of like just
Yep.
exports like a .md And if you don't really have that code background, you're probably going to be scrolling through a bunch of lines and trying to like
Correct.
decode that. Um, the second thing is what we just covered just now is Tracer. Highlighting that Tracer is basically the planner, right? And it will help
Yep.
verify. So once you do go through and pass it over, hand over the plan to Claude and it builds it, Claude will actually pass it back to Tracer to actually verify its work and make sure that not necessarily like checking the code lines if it's correct or not, but rather checking if it did the to-do list properly and in par, right? You can see here that our verification is red just because we skipped it, or we
Yep.
stopped it midway just so
Yeah,
we
we
can
stopped
move
it.
to the build. But in reality, you would follow through and just give it some time, allow that time for it to finish and go through, make sure that it verifies all the steps taken. Um, and then finally, reason why we sort of skip so that we can jump to the build for you guys is we want to show this workflow in a scalable real system environment on the real chain, especially a chain like that's probably first at COTI.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Yeah, it's been a fun live stream. Pretty challenging trying Tracer,
Imagine.
and I actually happy we made the payroll system in this on this live stream. It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
definitely.
very enjoyable.
Definitely,
Enjoyable.
I would say a good demo, despite the hiccups, which is something to expect when vibe coding or building with
Correct.
AI. Expect these hiccups and expect yourselves to give it some time to really understand. Just focus on the core important feature here, which is utilizing AI tools in a responsible manner, right? Being able to get ahead of the curve using AI tools to build something fast and catching these issues fast as well before actual deployment, and using additional tools like Tracer to help you stay organized and in check. So,
Yep.
yeah. So that wraps up our stream for tonight. Thank you guys for joining in. If there are any other questions or if you want to show any builds that you worked on, using Tracer AI, feel free to tag us. We'd love to jump in and see what you guys build.
See you guys.
All right. Thank you guys. Stay cotty.
Stay cloudy.